Larson, Bell, Reddick, Byron, Blaney, Hamlin, Elliott, Logano. I'm making my Championship 4 picks today ahead of the semifinal round of the NASCAR playoffs. How's it going, y'all? My name is Eric. Welcome to Out of the Groove. Happy Friday. Full show ahead. We'll get to my Championship 4 picks in just a moment. First, some actual breaking news this morning. Kevin Harvick is teaming up with Rackley War. See, yesterday, the Truck Series team announced that Dawson Sutton will drive the number 25 truck full-time in 2025. Not a huge surprise. The 18-year-old has come up through the team's late model program. He made his first start in the 25 truck a few weeks ago at Kansas, ran really well, finished 5th, thanks at least in part to some clever fuel strategy. He's the owner's son. He was built for this opportunity, but the news today, the team announced a partnership with Kevin Harvick. The press release says, through the partnership, both Kevin and Keelan Harvick will join the driver lineup for Rackley War's Super Late Model and Pro Late Model programs. In addition, Harvick will serve as a consultant to Rackley War's Truck Series program, where development driver Dawson Sutton will transition to full-time Truck Series competition in 2025. Rest assured, short track fans, that Kevin Harvick Incorporated will still run late model stocks next year. Kevin Harvick said in a statement, quote, "We still plan to have a presence in the Cars Tour next year, but Rackley War has a solid and proven track record that will drastically improve the learning curve for Keelan and I in the Super and Pro late models. In return, I hope that my years of owning and operating a championship-winning truck program will help shorten Dawson's learning curve in his rookie truck season and positively impact their truck program." Rackley War's been a fringe Truck Series playoff team in the past. Matt DiBenedetto got him in the playoffs last year, but this year was a struggle with Ty Dillon, so they needed a change, a big one. And then from Kevin and Keelan Harvick's perspective, this is a huge development opportunity for Keelan specifically, who I believe is now 12 years old? I know that still sounds crazy young, but in the late model world, it's not really. So he's going to get more seat time, more track time, going to learn slightly different vehicles. This is a great opportunity for young Keelan Harvick, who is a name I'm sure we'll continue to hear likely for years to come. So that is some notable news this morning. Now, before we talk playoffs, our annual Halloween-themed iRacing event, Groovy Hollow, is less than 2 weeks away. You can head to groovyhollowraceway.com for race info, charity information, diecast information, and much more, including the Legend of Groovy Hollow audiobook written by longtime NASCAR fan Cody Williams and performed by the talented Jillian Kuhl. This fast-paced, creepy novel will catch you up on all of the Groovy Hollow lore. And stay tuned to the end of this video because we'll be talking to both Cody and Jillian about the Legend of Groovy Hollow audiobook. So I hope you stay tuned for that. Now, it's the moment you've all been waiting for. The 16-driver playoff field has been cut to 8 today. I'm going from 8 to 4. So far, I'm batting 1,000. If you go back to my pre-playoffs predictions, hey, what do you know? I'm 8 for 8. How about that? But we've learned a lot about our playoff field over the past 6 weeks. So today, I'm going to make some slight edits. Using my high-tech, highly dynamic advanceometer, I will tell you how likely every playoff driver is to advance to the championship 4 on a scale of like 1 to 10. I know. It's very original. Beginning with, as you can see, points leader Kyle Larson. We head to Las Vegas this weekend. Larson is the 2-time defending Las Vegas winner. Then we'll go to Homestead, Miami, where Larson has led 100-plus laps in like 4 of the last 7 races. Then Martinsville, where Larson has a 2.75 average finish over the past couple years. I don't do this often, but Kyle Larson gets a 10 out of 10. There is no way he misses the championship 4. 33-point cushion. He's the one driver in this round who can have a bad race and still be okay. That's the thing. Larson is going to be the odds-on favorite to win every single race in this round. He's not going to win all 3 races, but he'll likely win one of them. And even if he doesn't, he'll have the speed to overcome any adversity. He also has a 33-point cushion. Kyle Larson is advancing to the championship 4. 10 out of 10. I'm sure of it. Let's move on to Joe Gibbs Racing driver Christopher Bell. 13 points to the good. C. Bell has been cool, calm, and consistent in these playoffs. He has a series best 6.5 average finish the last 6 weeks. He's been to the championship for 2 years in a row. He knows what it takes to advance past this round. He won the Fall Martinsville race in 2022. We've seen this year at Phoenix, at New Hampshire. He's been good at the short flat ovals. I'm giving Christopher Bell an 8 out of 10 on the Advancometer. He's been super consistent. I like most of the tracks in this round, though he did struggle at Vegas in the spring, worth mentioning. He has a small points cushion. He's been there, done that in the past. I trust Christopher Bell to advance to Phoenix. Next, Tyler Reddick, the regular season champion, resets plus 10 points above the cut line. I don't really know what to make of Tyler Reddick. He has an average finish of 18th in these playoffs. That's concerning. But most recently, he qualified second at the Roval, ran top 5. That's encouraging. But then there's Martinsville in this round. Reddick struggled in this race 1 year ago, eliminated from the playoffs. But at the same time, Las Vegas and Homestead are this round. Reddick was second at Las Vegas in the spring and has 3 top 5s at Homestead in 4 career starts. What version of Tyler Reddick is going to show up this round? Will it be the consistent regular season championship version we saw most of the season? Or will the 45 team continue to struggle with inconsistency? I'm getting 2023 Martin Truex Jr. vibes. Even when they're fast, like at the Roval, something happens and hurts their finish. So we'll see. I'm kind of 50-50 on Tyler Reddick, but there's one stat that I think is working against him. It's really hard for a non-Penske, non-Hendrick, non-Gibbs car to make the championship 4 since 2019. So that's going back 5 years. Over the past 5 years, only one non-Hendrick, non-Penske, non-Gibbs car has made it to the championship 4, and that was Ross Chastain Trackhouse in 2022, and he got to the championship 4 by riding the wall at Martinsville, defying physics. I know that 2311 has an alliance with Joe Gibbs Racing. That is worth something, but it's still difficult for a non-Gibbs, non-Hendrick, non-Penske car to advance these days. I do think that's working against Tyler Reddick. History, unfortunately, not on his side. Consider me pessimistic. I'm giving Reddick a 4 out of 10 on the Advancometer. Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Hang on, someone just handed me a resume here. Let's see. Finished second, third, and third in the round of 12. Hey, that's pretty good. Won the Martinsville Spring Race. Hey, I like the sound of that. Who is this? Oh, it's William Byron. William Byron has come on strong the past few weeks. Are we witnessing this year's Ryan Blaney? Last season, Blaney got hot after winning at Talladega in the round of 12. Byron didn't win, but 3 podium finishes in a row. That's something. That tells you they figured it out. Blaney carried that round of 12 momentum last year into the round of 8, where he finished 6th, 2nd, 1st, obviously went on to win the championship. Can William Byron and Rudy Fugle do the same this time around? Hey, it's possible. That was the whole narrative at the end of last season. You got to get hot at the right time. William Byron looks pretty hot. I think it's the right time. I'm giving William Byron plus 4 points, a 7 out of 10 on the Advancometer. And speaking of Ryan Blaney, he's finished 10th or better in every playoff race he hasn't been crashed out of. I like these tracks for Blaney. The Penske cars have been really good at short tracks, so I like Martinsville. Blaney was 5th there in the spring. I actually like Blaney at Las Vegas too. He was 3rd in the spring race. Ryan Blaney is 4 points out. He needs to pick up stage points. He did in the round of 12. Blaney earned 31 stage points, tied for the most of anyone. He needs to do that again, needs to qualify well. If he does that, I think he's got a shot. For now, I'm going to put the defending series champion at a 5 out of 10. Let me come back to Blaney. I'm kind of on the fence right now. Ooh, and next is Denny Hamlin. Denny Hamlin survived the round of 16. He survived the round of 12. He has not been good at super speedways or road courses in this car. Fortunately for Denny, the next 2 races are at traditional mile-and-a-halfs, then Martinsville. Hamlin, I know it's been a while, is a 5-time Martinsville winner. He's got a lot of clocks. But hey, even minus the paperclip, Hamlin has been so good at intermediates this year. When I look at Kansas, Charlotte, throw Darlington into the mix, maybe Michigan, Pocono even, he finished 2nd. Las Vegas Spring, of course. Hamlin has an average finish this year of 6th at those tracks. That's pretty good. And I didn't mention Texas, a mile-and-a-half. He was leading when he crashed out. Nashville, another intermediate. He was leading until like triple overtime caused him to run out of fuel. So I really like the way this round shapes up. He's 8 points out and has absolutely no momentum, however. So, gosh, like Blaney, let me come back to Denny. 5 out of 10 on the advanceometer. I'm on the fence. We'll come back to him. Chase Elliott, 9 points out. Chase Elliott is good. I'm just not convinced he's fast enough to overcome a 9-point deficit. He's only led 1 lap these entire playoffs. Let's say Chase Elliott has a perfect, issue-free round of 8. He'll probably run between 4th and 8th place in every race. He'll earn some stage points, but is that enough to make up a 9-point deficit and then some? Considering everyone you're racing around will also be running top 5, top 10, likely also earning stage points. I'm not sure. For reference, last season, Tyler Reddick entered this round 8 points below the cut line, similar to Chase. He finished 8th at Las Vegas, 3rd at Homestead, 8th and 3rd, pretty darn good, but somehow was 10 points below the cut line headed to Martinsville. Somehow he lost points to the cut line. That's how competitive this round usually is. If Chase Elliott was +9, I'd say he has a great shot of advancing, but -9? I'm sorry. 3 out of 10 on the advanceometer. He certainly has a shot. Hendrick has been good at intermediates. Chase Elliott's been very good at Martinsville. I looked this up. He's led 50 or more laps in 5 of the last 6 Martinsville races. So it's certainly not impossible. He has a good shot. I just wish he wasn't 9 points below the cut line. That's all. Sorry. Finally, Joey Logano. NASCAR fans have been sent into a frenzy this week. They've abandoned all logic and reason. Everyone has convinced themselves that Joey Logano is inevitable. It's an even-numbered year. Every other year, he always makes the championship four. The Alex Bowman disqualification is just the latest proof that the curse is legitimate. I get it. Everyone's a little superstitious, myself included, but today I'm here to inject some logic back into this conversation. Joey Logano is obviously great. Paul Wolfe, his crew chief, is obviously very good. They're both 2-time Cup Series champions. But just like I said with Chase Elliott, 8, 9, 10, 11-point deficits are difficult to overcome without a win. Ryan Blaney last year was -10 entering this round, to be fair, but he won at Martinsville, earned a ton of stage points before that. Joey Logano earned a lot of stage points in the round of 12, I counted 26, but 18 of those came at the Roval, where he took advantage of leaders pitting to flip the stage. I'm not trying to discredit what Joey Logano did at the Roval, had a very good race, still finished top 10. I'm just pointing out that Joey Logano does not have winning speed. He has not shown us consistent winning speed at any point this season. I predict this round he'll run 7th to 10th in every single race. I think Martinsville is his best shot to pull off a win. Again, Penske has been good at short tracks, but I don't like his odds. Logano only has 5 top 5s this year, by far the fewest of the remaining playoff drivers. If not for a 5 overtime finish at Nashville, let's be honest, Joey Logano wouldn't even have made the playoffs. Again, I get that everyone is afraid of the even year Logano superstition, but logic needs to win out here. Joey Logano is highly unlikely to advance to Phoenix. I'm giving him a 2 out of 10. So, quick recap here. Kyle Larson, I have him making it. Christopher Bell, 13-point cushion. I think he gets in. Way too consistent. I'm buying William Byron's recent surge. I think he makes it. Tyler Reddick makes me a little nervous. And Chase Elliott, Joey Logano, I just worry those deficits are too difficult to make up without a win, and neither have shown me consistent winning speed. So I don't have Reddick, Elliott, or Logano making it. Darn it, that means we've got Ryan Blaney and Denny Hamlin. I gave them both 5s. I'm on the fence. I can't stay on the fence. I wonder, did I pick either of these guys before the playoffs began? Let me go back. Oh, I had Tyler Reddick making the championship four. I'm not as confident in that pick now, but hey, I had Ryan Blaney, not Hamlin. So pre-playoffs, I picked Blaney. Should I stick with it? Should I double down? Ryan Blaney, he is the defending series champion. I'll give you that. Team Penske has won back-to-back championships. Gosh, I don't have favorites. I root for the most interesting story, and I'll just be honest, Denny Hamlin getting to the championship 4 is by far the most interesting story in these playoffs, considering he's never won a title and he's nearing the end of his career perhaps. But two, the fact that he's also suing NASCAR. Imagine if this is the year he finally breaks through. Like, that's a story right there. That's what I root for. Denny Hamlin is 8 points out. I think these tracks line up really well for him, but he has absolutely no momentum to speak of. Ryan Blaney has been by far the most consistent Penske driver, probably the most consistent Ford all year long. Oh, but if I pick Blaney, that would mean it's the exact same championship 4 as last year, right? It would be Larson, Bell, Byron, Blaney. Yeah, back-to-back years. That's not going to happen, is it, right? What are the odds? I'm going to look so hypocritical here, but for this pick, I'm buying the Denny Hamlin narrative. It's not going to be the exact same championship 4 as last year, right? That's never happened. I think Denny's going to get in. I'm buying it. I've seen absolutely nothing the last 6 weeks that would suggest Denny Hamlin's about to go on a championship run, but I really like the way these tracks line up. If not for a fluky steering issue at Homestead last year, Denny probably advances in 2023. I think Denny Hamlin makes it. I really like Chris Gabehart on the box. Logic probably says Blaney should get in, but I'm buying Denny Hamlin. I'm buying that storyline. That would give us something interesting to talk about the week leading up to Phoenix. Larson, Bell, Byron, Hamlin. That is my newly revised championship 4 pick. Leave a comment down below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know. Let me have it. I want to hear it. Now, once again, on October 29th, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, we'll be streaming Groovy Hollow, my annual Halloween iRacing event. It'll be streamed right here on this channel. You can check out the Legend of Groovy Hollow audiobook right now. Link is down in the description. To wrap up this week, let's hear from both the author of the novel, Cody Williams, and Jillian Kuhl, the fantastic actress whose work you can hear in the audiobook. Let's bring her in first. Jillian, it's great to have you on the show. I don't think I've ever interviewed a professional actor before, so this is a first for me. I want to start with this question. Do you have any background in the world of racing? How much about racing did you know before doing the Legend of Groovy Hollow audiobook?
I don't have a lot about like NASCAR background, but I grew up, my uncle raced late model stock car on dirt tracks. So
Nice.
as a kid, I grew up watching him and I thought it was so cool. And we go down to the pit and get all the signatures on the, like checkered flag that you'd buy at the little souvenir shop. So it was kind of nostalgic reading
Yeah.
the book and thinking about that time of my life.
That's really cool. That's awesome. Well, that was my next question. What was your first reaction when you were approached about reading and narrating a spooky, Goosebumps-esque racing story like this?
Listen, there have been stranger things, And it was like a really easy read, and I was invested. I was like, oh, this is a great story. So
Yeah.
I was happy to do it.
It was awesome. Yeah, it was a lot of fun to read. Fantastic performance. Like I said, I've never interviewed a professional actor, so I wanted to ask you this. You've done a ton of professional acting and voice acting, and I want to know, other than, I guess, obviously, having to put on a costume maybe, do you approach on-camera acting differently than voiceover acting?
Um, yes, I do. I don't have to worry about like my body movements when I'm in here. I can just like put on some sweatpants and chill, and there's like a whole other like physical embodiment of the character if you're on camera. But there still is, you've got to I like to like read ahead of the books, know what's coming, and then once I get into the groove of the story, I can, predict what the character is going to do, and I kind of just like visualize it in my head as I read.
So are you like very physical in the sound booth, or are you more
No,
stoic?
I'm physical. I like to move around. Not like
Nice.
this, something.
Yeah, Jillian, it's been great to meet you. Great to have you on the show. Thank you so much for being here. Fantastic work on the Legend of Groovy Hollow audiobook. Fans watching or listening at home, link to all 5 chapters, I guess, all 5 segments of the audiobook are down in the description below. You can hear Jillian's fantastic work for yourself. Jillian, thank you so much for being on the show. Hope to talk to you again sometime soon.
Awesome. Thank you. Bye-bye.
I am now joined by the author of The Legend of Groovy Hollow, Cody Williams. Cody, it's great to have you on the show ahead of our special iRacing event here in just a couple weeks. When I was first told by the folks at AE Engine, I was talking to Craig months ago, I think, and he said, hey, Cody, he's going to write a book explaining the lore, the creepy backstory of Groovy Hollow. I was blown away. I thought, really? How's this going to turn out? I'm blown away. I was absolutely stunned by what you were able to put together. My first question for you, Cody, what inspired you to turn Groovy Hollow into a novel this year?
I had always wanted to write a racing story. I'm a novelist by trade, and I'd always wanted to write a racing story. And then we were doing preseason talks with the Daily Downforce, talking about all that, and Craig mentioned to me doing a story, and the idea was a short story. But I tend to run long. I get wrapped up in characters. When I was in college, my creative writing professor called me Codicius because they'd be like, write me a 1-page thing, I'd come in with a 4-page thing. Write me a poem, I'd come in with a 9-page poem. Write me a short story, I came in with a 40-page novella. I'd have a tendency to run long. I get wrapped up in characters, and I'd always wanted to write a racing story, and I had an idea, but it wasn't fully there. And then Craig was like, hey, we could do this with the Daily Downforce, and then it kind of clicked. It all came together.
I do want to ask, because you mentioned that you'd always wanted to do a racing story. Do you have any favorite racing stories, either books maybe, or maybe a documentary, maybe it's a real world story or a movie? Do you have any favorite racing stories that maybe inspired this at all?
My favorite racing story, of course, is the 1992 championship story. All the storylines leading up to that race, that I think is the greatest championship battle of all time. Junior winning the 500 in 2014 was pretty cool. That's a cool story, everything leading up to that. And that season he had, that was like a career renaissance. My favorite book about NASCAR is also by Dale Jr. It's Racing to the Finish. It's about his concussions and stuff. I have it over here. It's got all these signatures in it because when I went to Darlington last year, I got everybody to sign it. I couldn't get Junior, couldn't catch him, but I had his nephew Jeffrey sign it, and Parker Kligerman signed it. He was like, "I'm honored to sign Dale Jr.'s book."
That's wild.
So that's kind of cool.
So it's a lot of real world racing stories that kind of inspired you, that motivated the storylines in this. Because the book, not to spoil it, but it does sort of follow the racer's arc. There's some creepy twists and turns, of course. There's mentors she meets along the way. She's got a goal at the end that she's trying to realize. It's good. It reads like it was written by someone who really knows racing. Cody, I appreciate you being on the show here and sharing a little more insight into what went into this. Again, I was blown away when I first got the chance to read The Legend of Groovy Hollow. Fantastic work. Fans watching or listening to this can click the link down below to listen to the audiobook version. I believe we also have the written version available down there as well. Go at your own pace. Listen to the great Jillian Kuhl performance. Whatever you'd like. Cody, really appreciate you being on the show, being a part of Groovy Hollow this year. Thanks for being on. Great to see you.
Thank you.
The 4th annual Groovy Hollow iRacing event is October 29th. Hope you'll check it out. Thank you for watching, folks. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe for more. Big thank you to my Patreon supporters. Have a great rest of your week, folks. I will see you later this weekend, post Las Vegas. Let's see how our playoff predictions hold up.